What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace an alternator on this 2015 Chevy Silverado. If you need parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. I want to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. I'm going to use a 10mm socket extension and ratchet. Loosen this up, grab the negative terminal, slide it off. Set it aside so it doesn't arc out by accident. Loosen up this worm clamp right here. Also over here is a worm clamp back here near the throttle body. Loosen this one up, the same straight blade screwdriver. I'll take this snorkel off this side, off the airbox. And then over here, there's two pipes on each side. There's this little gray lock that you have to push down on the lock and then slide it out, just like that. You have to do the same on the other side. This one I'm pushing up from underneath and then slide it up. And I can grab this and just slide it back, wiggle it a little bit, and the whole thing comes up. All right, we want to take this serpentine belt off. We're going to use this tool. We actually sell this serpentine belt tool at 1aauto.com. It has many different attachments. We're going to use this attachment and slide the tensioner counterclockwise. Then we can take the belt off the alternator and then release the tension on the tensioner. If you didn't have that tensioner tool, you could also use a 1/2" drive breaker bar. Loosen the tension on the tensioner. Now I'll take the belt off the water pump and then off the crank and slide it from behind the tensioner. Now it's really tight behind the tensioner. You have to kind of slide the belt sideways and then you can get it off. I'll disconnect this connector right here, push down on the lock tab and pull the connector out. Now we're going to remove this nut from the positive terminal on the alternator. Make sure your battery is disconnected if you didn't disconnect it yet. And we'll use a 13mm socket and a ratchet. Loosen this nut. Take that nut off. And grab the terminal, set it aside. Take these two bolts out. I'm going to use a 15mm socket and a ratchet. Loosen that one, then loosen this one. Right. Take those bolts out. The one on top is shorter than the longer one underneath. I'm going to take a pry bar, get underneath here. Be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to break any of the brackets, but I'm just going to pry up on this side. Once it's up a little bit, you should be able to pry underneath a little. Just wiggle it back and forth. You don't ever want to pry it back and forth that way because then you can break the ears off the bracket. Just like that. And there it is. All right, so I'm just gonna take a wire brush. I'm gonna clean this surface a little bit. You wanna be careful on these back two surfaces. These are machined finishes and that creates the depth of how deep the alternator goes. It's not so critical on these front ones. You can go a little more, clean these a little bit better. But these ones, just be careful. Same on the alternator. These front two mounting positions are not as critical as the back ones. These are what set the depth for the alternator, so you can clean these off lightly with the wire brush. The front ones, you can do a little better job. There's these bushings in this bracket right here that get pushed in when you tighten up the alternator. It's a lot easier if you take a hammer and just try to bang them out a little bit. You do want to be careful. You don't want to break these ears off this bracket. So use a nice little hammer. This is a brass hammer. We actually sell this in a kit through 1aauto.com. We'll do that on this side and also right here. Take the alternator, just line it up, slide it in position. Shorter bolt goes in the front, on the top. And get that started. Once that one's started, then the longer one goes underneath. Right, I'm gonna snug these up with a 15mm socket and a ratchet, and I can torque these to 37 foot-pounds. Now I'll install this terminal. Get that lined up and install the nut. Then I'm going to torque this nut to 106 inch-pounds. Make sure you're on inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. Now take this boot, cover that back up. That's good. Connect the connector, line it up, lock it in place. Take the serpentine belt. I'm going to go around the crank first, around the crank pulley. And then I'll take this smoother side, and this is going to go right behind here, behind the tensioner. Slide that back there. And then the rib side is going to go around the water pump pulley right there. All right, once that's all lined up, then I'm going to hold it near the alternator, and I'll use the serpentine belt tool. Get that in the tensioner and slide it over the alternator. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. There we go. Make sure those are all lined up. Once that's lined up, release the tension on the tensioner. Right, now we're going to slide this into position. Now there's a little bracket right here that's going to slide into that slot right there. So slide it on the mass, on the throttle body first. Get that lined up there. You can take and slide this on right here onto the airbox. That's good. I'm going to take a straight blade screwdriver, tighten up this worm clamp right here on the throttle body, and then tighten this one up as well. We'll take these hoses. These are going to clip in. Make sure they lock in place. Do the same on this side. I'm going to take the negative battery cable, hook it up to the negative side of the battery. I'm going to take a 10mm socket, extension, and a ratchet. Just snug this up. Grab the cable, just make sure it's nice and tight. Won't loosen up.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.